Hello all and welcome into historic Legion Stadium on a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's a hot one, that's for sure. Close to 90 degrees, heat index close to triple digits. And it's a great matchup between Port City FC's men's team versus Greenville United. It's a matchup between two teams looking for 3 points in the NPSL. We appreciate you tuning in today to this beautiful game of soccer. A lot of soccer action in the summer. The Club World Cup going on, the Gold Cup, if anybody watches international soccer. But we're glad that you're here watching us in Wilmington, North Carolina. Port City FC, they sit second in the standings of NPSL. They've really moved their way up the ladder as this season has gone on. They've played 6 games out of their allotted 10 in the regular season. As for Greenville United, they've played 7 games and they sit 6th out of 8 currently. I'll get you some starting lineups now. First, for the visitors of Greenville United. Number 23, Abduli Sena. Number 18, Abubakar Fofana. Number 15, Christopher Kendela. Number 5, Edward Mensa. Number 25, Emmanuel Duran. Number 1, Joseph Gimafe. Number 4, Lawson Abbas. Number 9, Modu Faye. Number 7, Osuseno Konate. Number 10, Sayanahu Halo. Number 3, Bryce Nikimini. Now for Port City FC, it's number 10, Adam Holt. Number 7, Alex Walker. Number 11, Caleb Powell. In goal, number 0, Elias Mumford. Number 8, Jack Steele. Number 6, Jackson Minisi. Number 21, Keenan Lieber. Number 5, Martin Rivera. Number 18, Max Menenke. Number 2, Sebastian Tepe. And number 20, William Fatzinger. One big thing to point out for Port City FC's roster is sitting on the bench is number 19, Caleb Woodard. First time we've seen him on the active roster this season. Was the captain and a regular game starter in last season of NPSL play for Port City FC. So keep an eye if he'll join the center back for Port City FC. So as the PA announcer here gets ready to play the national anthem, we'll step aside for a second and we'll be back for first kickoff. So as the teams do the honorary fist bumps in the middle of the park, we get ready for first kick. Port City FC, they're in their light blue tops, while Greenville United have a white back with green stripes on the front. A unique kit there that is pretty nice, to be honest. But no dark colors here in the kits variety, as it's too hot for that. Let us know what you think of both teams' jerseys if you get a look at them. Before we get underway, thanks for tuning in once again. Let us know who you think is going to win this game. Give us a prediction. The fans at home in the comments. We'll love to see it. We'll look at them and we'll see who's right at the end of this game. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and definitely share. And thanks for tuning in on Port City FC YouTube. There's that Carolina Coastal Blue of Port City FC. So to set the stage for the game, Port City FC, as we said, they sit second in the standings, 6 games played. 4 of those have been wins, 2 losses. They've only scored 13 goals and a +4 goal differential. So that's something you don't very often see with a team that's got 4 wins. They've won close and they've lost big. That's the story for Port City FC, but they've won over half of their games. As for Greenville United, 2 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses provide the 8 points that they sit at 6th place on the standings. Greenville trying to leap up the standings as Port City FC tries to close down in on Hickory FC, who's undefeated. That's the team Port City FC will play in their next home game next Saturday. Their last home game on the season for Port City FC. What a matchup that'll be if Port City FC can win their next 2 games. They play a midweek game as well. More on that later as first kick is underway, and we have action here at Legion Stadium. It's Greenville United with first possession. They're going right to left on your screen, while Port City FC is going left to right. So the long ball for Greenville goes out of play, and it's an early throw in for Port City FC. While we're over on that far sideline, you see those tents on the far side where the benches are. That's the first time we've seen that. It's so hot and just makes you sweat on contact with the sun. So trying to get any shade they can are the teams, both teams with a couple tents over on that far side. Here's Powell flicking it on, trying to find a teammate, but it's knocked out of bounds, and that was a good save for it to be a throw-in and not a corner kick for Port City FC. And watch for some action early on in their last 2 games for these 2 teams. Port City FC, they scored in the 5th minute, and Greenville United scored in the 7th minute of their respective games. So a lot of scoring early for both of these teams. Wouldn't be surprised if we see another one here. Minisi gets it back into the box. Now it's headed away. Port City FC now will possess for the first time today around the back. So Fatzinger now was passing around with Lieber. Lieber getting the start. He's had a couple critical goals. He had a nice goal from around 43 yards out. He chipped the keeper of, it wasn't their last game actually, it was 2 games ago. It was Burlington United. They played last Saturday against Charlottetown Hop, excuse me. They won that game 2-1, got revenge from an earlier loss in the season where Port City led twice and ended up losing that game 3-2. It's a free kick now for Port City FC. Jack Steele on the right and Jackson Minisi whips it in. An in-swinger wide open was Menenke. He was offside. That's why he was wide open. Good line there from Greenville. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, Meneke will be unmarked, yeah. Good line from Greenville to hold him. And it takes a lot of, I wouldn't say patience, but a lot of discipline to hold a line like that. Because if Meneke was on sides and got better contact, it would have been a free chance on goal. Now, Greenville attacking up the field. Bass scored in the last game as well. He actually scored the goal to tie up the game against Bristol Rhythm. They tied that game 3-3. I mentioned they scored in the 7th minute, but then 3 goals in the span of 6 minutes for Bristol Rhythm in the first half resulted in Greenville being down 3-1 at halftime before the second half came around, and they scored 2 goals of their own in 4 minutes. Laddered by that Abbas goal to tie the game up at 3 apiece, and that's where it finished. I mentioned Port City FC. They won their last game 2-1 against Charlottetown Hops. As Meneke trying to win the ball back in the offensive area, but it's recovered nicely by Faye. The ball just goes out of that stretched legs of Abbas there on the far touchline for a throw-in now for Sebastian Tepe and Port City FC. But Port City FC, they won that game 2-1, and the game-winning goal scored by Jack Steele. That put Port City FC up 2-0. They ended up giving a goal up in the second half. But Jack Steele gets credited with the game winner. That's back-to-back game winners for Jack Steele as he opened up the scoring here at Legion Stadium 10 days ago against Burlington United. That game was ultimately won 3-0. But Jack Steele with the first goal. So Jack Steele looking to make it 3 straight game winners today. Here's a through ball into Powell. He gets on the end of it. Powell just toe pokes it though right to Guillaume. So the first chance we see 5 minutes into the game. Powell though unable to wrap his body around it, only able to get his big toe on it. And the pace has certainly not been frantic. It's been very controlled and composed so far for both these teams. They both know that they have a long game in front of them, and not only that, they have heat to deal with. There'll be a hydration break right around 20 to 25 minutes. So how will that shape this game as well, as the coach will get a chance to talk to his team, almost like a timeout. Free kick here as Tepe was fouled on that far touchline. Another chance to whip a ball in if you're Port City FC. Menisi this time runs into the box, and Jack Steele will send the ball in. Puts backspin on it, does Steele, and it's headed away by Greenville. Powell puts it back into the mix. Meneke tried to go under the defender and try and see if he'd miss it. Did not though, and Greenville clear. Once again, thanks for tuning in today. A great afternoon for soccer. Comment about who you think is going to win the game. We'd love to see your predictions on who's going to score first, which team, which player, and what you think the final score might be. Also, if you've been watching any of the Gold Cup action here in CONCACAF or the Club World Cup as well, let us know who you're rooting for. The Club World Cup halfway through the second match day. A couple really good games, and the stadiums have been pretty full. There was some worry that some of the stadiums were going to be pretty empty as tickets prices dipped late on, but it has been quite the pleasure to see the stadiums full, especially last night's game against Bayern and Boca. Now here's the ball over back here in Wilmington. There's Walker, plays it over to Meneke. Meneke shot blocked, and Greenville tried to clear. Meneke's leg was still there. Guimafy off the line. collected. There's that replay of that shot. Menenke got blocked. Haven't seen a keeper tested yet. A couple chances though from Port City. Greenville though, yet to create a chance on this left side of the field. There's Lieber. Lieber, who's playing center back, has really created a lot of goal scoring opportunities on the season. We said that he scored in the last game. He also scored earlier in the season in that center back position. Tepe gets it back to Fatzinger. Fatzinger now will play it over to Lieber. Here's Menenke. Menenke inside. And now it's rotated around to Jack Steele, but his pass gets intercepted. Manisi, the central midfielder, the central player, out wide there, and there is Lieber to get rid of any danger there for Port City FC. Menenke was covering right back of Martin Rivera there. So now they're back in the right position. Here is Greenville, the attacking third for the first time, trying to hold on to it. Powell down pressing. It stays with Greenville for now. Duran was in there. Now it's rotated around. Nakimi. Nakimi up, pressuring. Tepe. Walker was looking for a pass through the heart of Greenville defense there, but the defender stood his ground. Now Holt now on this near side. A little dunk pass inside, but it's intercepted there. Konate intercepted. Jack Steele just looking for a pass. Lots of time for Steele so far. The center midfielders for Port City have had a lot of space to work into. Rivera there with the pressure on Duran. Excuse me, that was Sané. Central defender for Greenville. Rivera trying to get his head on it, and it's cleared away emphatically by Leber. Mensah. Connecting a couple passes now are Greenville. Fay curls it outside to Abbas. Now Abbas trying to take on Tepe. Abbas with a head of steam. He dunks it down into the corner now. Nakimi. Good ball in, but just overran there by Konate. Menenke does a little stop-touch tactic and gets his team a goal kick. So the cross from Nakimi. Good ball in, but just overrun by Konate. First real chance, though, we've seen from Greenville here. 12 minutes into the game. Showing some signs of life. And it's a tough game whenever it's so hot, because you have to stay mentally switched on the whole game. And one lapse and one moment where you just think that you don't need to make that extra run or that extra effort to put the pass in a certain spot can cost your team a goal and ultimately cost your team the 3 points. Rivera there, pressured by 3 Greenville players, Konate and Nakimia was with the pressure. Fatzinger looks for Holt. Holt has to dump it back down to Tepe, now back to Fatzinger. Over to Lieber. Greenville in a nice, tight, compact shape right now. They only have their players about 15, 20 yards from each other. Their farthest defender to their number 9, their striker. A pretty high line as well for Greenville. but their shape proving deadly for Port City FC right now as they've won it back, has Greenville. Fay. Sané plays it back to Fay. Fay, long ball there, goes all the way back to Mumford. In the last game, we didn't see Mumford here for Port City FC, their last home game, I would say. Andrew Stein is on the bench today for Port City FC. So Christensen, we saw him in the last game at home against Burlington United. But back to Mumford. Here's the through ball into Powell. It stops, but able to get there was Giamifi. Giamifi, a little lucky there as that turf really spun the ball backwards. Take a quick look at that replay here. Nice ball there from Minisi. Powell running onto it. Giamifi stands his ground. So now back with Fatzinger into Walker. Now pressured heavily is Fatzinger. Has to get past the pressure of Greenville. Fay, a little too handsy there, trying to keep Fatzinger from getting too far away. Walker put Fatzinger in a tough spot though. And those are those mental mistakes potentially that could cost your team a goal. Just putting the ball in the wrong spot because there's fatigue from the heat and not just the match in general. So 15 minutes in, a quarter hour. Let us know who's going to score that first goal. Let us know what the final score is in the comments. We'd love to see it. We've made it 15 minutes without a goal. I said there might be goals early. I think the heat playing a factor as of right now. 5 to 10 minutes, we'll see a hydration break. All you have to do is comment yes or no if you think there'll be a goal before the hydration break. Let us know, yes or no. Get your prediction in now before it's too late, that's for sure. But also, thanks for tuning in. Like and comment, as we said, and share as well. Port City FC versus Greenville United here on Port City FC YouTube. So now here's Greenville driving in. And Mumford had to dive to his left, but that was out of the arm's reach of Mumford. Great chance there, as we'll take another look at it. Cuts inside. And a shot that just goes by. And we see one comment that said, yes, there will be a goal. And almost proven right. Not but seconds after. So we see you. We'll see if that will come true or not. If you think that there won't be a goal, let us know now. A little fun competition in the comments and between the fans. Also, let us know who you're supporting as well. Love to see who we have on the broadcast. Big switch over by Greenville. Now space. But the pass left something to be desired as Rivera picked it off. But Rivera gave it right back. Duran back to Sané. Inside to Fay. Abbas though. Now pressuring. One back though by Fay. Just a mad scramble over on that far side. Neither team really wants to keep the ball, it looks like. Good turn in the middle of the park by Candela. Mumford's got to be aware, and he was. Big bounce off the turf, but able to collect was Mumford. Mumford with his safe hands there, collecting at the top of his 18. Now it goes back to Fatzinger. We see some comments about the slow game. I think the heat definitely has a factor to that. Hopefully we'll see some more action though. I think all the fans at home want to see some more action, more chances as well. Maybe not even goals. Goals would be nice, but definitely some clear-cut chances would be a good sign in this game. Typical Bert says 12-0 in favor of Greenville United. Very confident in the Bucks. Love to see the confidence from the fans. Mumford off his line, comes to collect it. Collision there though with Abbas. That would be a big loss for Greenville as he stays on the turf for the moment. And it's just one of those 50-50 challenges, maybe a little bit more in favor of the goalkeeper. Amanda Smith says, "Let's go Bucks. We see you." Meneke taking off his knee brace over on this near touchline. You can't see it on the camera shot right now as he just throws it over here. Abbas is up, which is good to see for Greenville. It's the players running over to get hydration while Abbas was down as well. And yes, a couple of poor shots off a couple of good Port City chances. See that in the comments. And execution has not been there. And that is one of the first things that goes away in terms of when it's hot. Your execution on shots are not as good. And the NPSL has been known for goals so far this season. A lot of goals in Port City FC games. We said they've only got a +4 goal differential because they've won tight games. Greenville's been in a lot of goal-scoring games, obviously the 3-3 draw. But so far today, as you say in the comments, it's been very slow. In the first 4 games for Port City, they saw 5 goals in each of their games. Now the last 2 have seen 3. So we'll hope we'll at least get 3, if not 5, and if not more. Held back was Fay. And it's a foul, free kick for Greenville. So Greenville take their time. It looks like they're going to dump it long. We're about 22 minutes in the game. We'll see probably 3 more minutes or so, and we'll see the hydration break. The sun has gone behind a cloud for the split second. It's won by Lieber out of the air, off the bounce. Now over to Duran with space. Duran cuts it back on Meneke. And Duran now driving inside, outside of his left boot there. Intercepted by one quickly by Fay. Fay, the central defender, the number 6 positional player. Long ball in, and Mumford off his line once again. Sane not afraid to dump the ball long though. So Rivera plays it back to Lieber. And yes, we see in the comments 1 goal would open up this game. It really would. That's all it takes sometimes is 1 goal, and one team either run away with the game or the other team has a spark and they really have a kick in the pants to go and equalize, and it really opens up the game as well. So that would be critical. Here was a chance by Abbas. Blocked though once more. Still no saves from either keeper. Still on the feet of Greenville. Hallo somehow kept it for long enough to get it out wide, but no cross is able to come in for Greenville. Powell now gets on the end of it. Maybe it was offsides, but referee doesn't put his flag up. Powell, big switch over to Menenke. Duran running with it as well. And Gimafi was able to collect it. Here's that replay of that shot by Abbas. 3 Port City bodies, and right off the rump of the farthest defender of Fatzinger. You can already start to see the discoloration of the jerseys for Port City FC, especially obviously in that lighter blue. Hickory FC fan, obviously we mentioned them earlier. They are undefeated, watching this game with interest, seeing if Port City FC can try and keep that gap close. But we see a Port City could make a screamer right now. We've seen a couple screamers here at Legion Stadium, especially in the last home game, if you watched that one with us. If not, watch the highlights. There were a couple really spectacular goals that we saw. Port City FC will win 2-0. We got a couple Port City FC fans in the comments. And yes, we've seen a shot. Isaac Tom. Love to see the comments coming in. Keep them rolling, absolutely. We'd love to see your perspective. Vorbridge Soccer says 3 games in 7 days will be tough for Port City. And the temperatures, yes, this week is one of the worst weeks that we've seen in terms of the weather here in Wilmington, as Abbas trying to run onto it. He's got past 1, 2, but now it's taken away by Lieber. And one quickly back by Duran. But these temps are not going away, that's for sure. Humid next week as well. So it's going to be a tough stretch for Port City. Now it's inside, trying to put a move on, but Lieber gets his left foot in the way. And now Rivera will try to break out from Port City. Obviously today, the first day of summer, so welcome in summer and in fashion, that's for sure. Summer actually started as we see that chance from Greenville driving in, but taken away by the 3rd Port City defender. Then we have a couple of comments about Isaac Tom joining the boys. Well, they'll be waiting for you. And Jack Steele, we have a comment about him scoring. There's a long ball by Greenville. Konate on the end of it now. What can Greenville do with it? Duran, nice behind the back connection. Halo. Now it's with Candela. Back to Halo. Over to Mensa. Abbas trying to make a run down the line. It's back now. But Jack Steele, he scored in the last 2 games. There's a big cross in. That one was maybe a shot attempt, but it went straight up in the air. Duran now will whip across in with his left foot. Back post, getting a head on it. Mumford trying to scramble over. He might have been beat if that was on frame. Good headed effort by Abbas. So Abbas with the red boots. You can't miss him on the pitch. Good headed effort there, but just off the frame. So Jack Steele, his haircut, we did mention that in the last game. He changed his haircut prior to 2 games ago and scored the game winner. Now it's quickly won by Greenville here. Shot right into Mumford's hands though. That's some mistakes that could start building up with the heat that we see today. But the attempt leaving something to be desired as well. Jack Steele changes haircut, scored in back-to-back games, as you say. We have a couple. Muhammad says Greenville's going to win 3-1. Would love to see some goals. I hope we do soon, that's for sure. Hickory FC says Port City FC need a band. That would be cool. What an atmosphere that would be. To answer that second question, it's a pretty decent crowd, I'd say. 50 people in the stands. A lot of people in the shade, though. Here's eruption from the 50 or so fans in the stadium. They thought that was a foul on their gulls. As you just saw the replay there. Amanda says it sounds like 67,000. Well, like I just said, it's not anything close to that, but hey, we love the atmosphere. That's what we thrive for, right? But Hickory, we gotta get out there and see what that band is like. Get us a connection for sure. Menisi now. Menenke and Menisi connecting. Now here's Walker. Walker finding Menenke. Menenke inside. Great connections there from Port City FC. And it stays in the attacking third. Pressure on for Port City. Cross in. Great diving effort from Walker. Now, oh, it looked like Greenville was on the break, but it's called back for a foul. I'm not sure Greenville will be too happy about that. Here's that first chance. Inside of Menenke, great passing. Walker was a part of that, so was Menenke. Then it came back out and whipped back into the box. Headed away, and there's the foul. It is a foul, but Greenville right there, that would have been a chance for Greenville to maybe break and get this game wide open. We see the hydration break now. We're 30 minutes into the game. And it's been a pretty slow first 30 minutes. Hickory FC fan says, isn't Port City third place? Well, they're tied for second, technically, in terms of points. They both have 12, or Port City has 12, along with the other place team, Appalachian, who's got 12. But they have 7 games played, and technically, Charlottetown Hops have 13 points, but they've played 8 games. So if you do the average in terms of points per match, then Port City FC would be the top of that group. So obviously, something to keep an eye on. If you do a traditional, then they would be third, yes. So you are correct, Hickory FC, but based on goal or points per game, that is what I was looking at. Muhammad says refs making bad decisions. Yeah, I said that I agree the counter should have been let going, so we see you. And 3,000 to 4,000 fans at Hickory. That's quite a raucous crowd, it sounds like, especially for NPSL level. That's probably a really good crowd. And with a good team like you have, they definitely bring out the numbers, that's for sure. As for Greenville, I see that you're asking what position Greenville is. They're 6th out of 8. If you go off the same model that I was going on in terms of points per game, Greenville's played 7 games and 8 points. As for the team above them, it's Bristol Rhythm. They played 6 games and have 7 points. So they do, Greenville has more points than Bristol, so that would put them in 5th. But as for the points per game, they have less. So that could all change, though, today. Greenville could be within touching distance of Port City and Appalachian and Charlottetown Hops if they get the win. And Port City FC just trying to get away from that group of teams I just mentioned. And Muhammad answering the question for me. So thank you. As we get action underway here, we lost about 2 minutes, so we'll probably see about 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. A little bit late for the hydration break, but players certainly looked fatigued out there. Minisi with a nice little move there. It's whipped in, but defended easily by Greenville, now cleared away by Gimafi. So here's Duran. And while we have everyone in the comments, let us know when you think the first goal will be, or if there'll be a first goal at all. I surely hope there will be a first goal. I'm sure all your fans at home want a goal as well. It's been a pretty slow pace, as we see now, the ball slowing down. Rivera now trying to shield off of the attacking play of Greenville, and that's just kind of the game. It's been no real pressure from the player there of Greenville. Trying to conserve his energy was Kanate. One of the biggest things about the games that I like are stats, you know, and we have some stat nerds, it seems like, in the comments and watching today. That's awesome to see. That's awesome. And it's getting to that point of the season when playoffs and numbers really start to be in people's minds in terms of positioning and how that will all finish out on the season. So here's Menenke, who's transitioned now more central. Also, don't forget, 6 p.m. today is the women's Port City FC team, as now here's Jack Steele with a screamer, and he gets the top right corner. We have a breakthrough here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Jack Steele, out of nothing, bread and butter for the man with a new haircut. Absolute brilliance from Jack Steele. 3 goals in 3 games. He better not change his hair ever again. Now let's take another look at that goal. Just a mad scramble there, and Jack Steele just somehow ends up with the ball and just takes a crack. Very similar position to where he scored the first goal of the game 10 days ago, but this time he finds the top right corner. And I saw him do that in warm-ups against his own keeper, Elias Mumford. So Steele with a screamer. Great call by whoever said that there was going to be a Jack Steele screamer early in the comments. Benjamin Blankenship predicting the future. He says Jack Steele's going to score 3 in 3 games, so kudos to him. And we have life in this game. And as you've said at home, this might provide a spark and might provide some more action that we've been desired. So Greenville with work to do now. They've controlled the possession since the goal. But I was mentioning right before that Jack Steele screamer, 6 o'clock. Stay with us here on Port City FC YouTube, or however you're watching currently. It's Port City FC women's team who's undefeated. So Hickory FC, they know that correlation. Port City FC playing Carolina Football Club, and that's a big game because Carolina is 2nd place and Port City FC just beat them last Friday, 2-1. And that's the only game Carolina has lost as well. So a big match for both of these teams. Port City FC women's also ranked in the nation. And not just squeaking in as well. They're pretty high. I think they're top 15 if I'm not mistaken. So stay tuned for a nationally ranked WPSL women's team match at 6 p.m. Back here for the men's match in the NPSL. Port City FC lead 1-0. And Hickory FC predicting the future as well. Hickory FC fan, I might say. So we see, not to give you your props. So we've seen our first goal after the hydration break. Now the question becomes, after halftime, how early do we see substitutes making an impact? Because I think they will have a very heavy impact. The question I have for the fans at home is, will there be a substitute that scores a goal today? Yes or no? Substitutes could play a very big part in this game. Here's Powell now, finding Holt on the far side. Holt driving in right from the area, steal scored. That's going to be a foul. Referee calls it. And it's not a yellow card, even though the fans dismay and want to see the yellow. They won't get it. NPSL might be my favorite league ever. I'm starting to agree as well. We see goals every week. And there's so much action. And all the games are online, so definitely agree with you there. And Hickory FC fan also says yes, the substitute will score a goal. As for watching NPSL, the best place to watch is TSC TV. If you're tuning on there, well, thank you. Here's Powell, saved by Giamfi. And that was tight to maybe being kept in, but it looks like it did cross the line. Here's Powell with a good effort. Stretched is Giamfi, and it did go out of bounds there. You can see clearly, so it's a corner for Port City FC. It's a warning, says Hickory FC fan, that there will be a substitute scorer, so make sure you stay tuned in this game as we see subs and we're going to see a goal. Remember that whenever that occurs. Minisi heads it back in. Holt flicks on, saved by Giamfi. What a save, and maybe touched on by Greenville defender. We'll take a look if it was saved by both of the players or just the goalkeeper of Giamfi. Oh, it looks like it might have been cleared solely by the defender. Great defensive effort by the front post player. And we'll take another look at that replay at the halftime break. So and we'll look at it in more slow motion to see who actually got the clearance. But we've seen some shots now as Port City FC have really opened up this game like a can of sardines or a can of tuna, whatever your favorite fish is. Maybe some cat food if you have a cat at home. Here's a shot from Jack Steele territory, saved to his right once more by Giamfi. He's had to do a lot of diving to his right. And it's another corner for Port City FC. Adam Holt, he didn't play around with that shot. And this is the action we've wanted here, that we've finally got in Wilmington, North Carolina. Here's Jack Steele now. The ensuing corner kickoff, another save by Giamfi. Headed by Powell, Giamfi punched. Now Lieber trying to get it off, but here is Greenville countering, or trying to. Duran will get on the end of it. He's only got one player to help him right now. There is Nikimia in support. Nikimia over to Duran. It's dumped in, just into the box. A little chip shot. Abbas now trying to chase down Holt. Abbas pulls off, and Holt now pressured by Fofana. Was with the pressure there, but it is not Port City as we take a quick breath due to both teams. And almost a header goal. Yes, we did almost see one there on that corner kick. We really did. That would have been quite a goal. I don't think we've seen one here at Legion Stadium this season for Port City FC men's team. Abbas battling with Tepe, shoulder to shoulder. Tepe got the ball right now, but it's out off his left foot, so it's a throw-in for Greenville. And if you're looking at the live standings like Hickory FC fan is, Port City FC is now in second place solely. So Greenville now throws the ball in. And it's cleared away by Fatzinger out of the stadium, and it's the 45th minute. It's a corner kick for Greenville, excuse me. Other games today in NPSL action: Burlington United are at home to Bristol Rhythm. Charlottetown Hops at home to Appalachian FC at 7:30, and Hickory FC, I know Hickory FC fans going to be watching that one. They're hosting 865 Alliance. Corner in now for Greenville. Oh, free header, but it's just off the mark. And that Hickory game is at 7 tonight. It's in Hickory. They host, so that'll be a game that I might try to tune into for the latter portions to see that atmosphere. Well, after the 6 p.m. game, obviously, here for the Port City FC women. So if you want to tune into our game and then go to the Hickory game, or have a laptop and a phone, one of the two console attack there. So we're in the 45th minute. I said we'll probably see about 2 extra minutes. I think we're 30 seconds. Yeah, so the clock on the screen was stopped for, I think, hydration. That's the word I got. So probably whenever that hits 45, so about 2.5 minutes or so, we'll see halftime being called. Depends on whatever the ref kept on his clock during that hydration break. Hickory FC fan says he's going to be at that Hickory game. Well, if you tune in for the Port City FC women's game, let us know how it's going. If you're not, I'm sure you'll be watching next Saturday whenever Hickory FC travels to Wilmington right here. And let us know how that game went. If you're here, well, we'd love to see you and meet you, but if not, I was offsides there for Greenville. Hallo. Straight offsides and then made contact with Mumford, so it's a yellow for Hallo. That's a tough situation because referee blows his whistle as soon as he sees the flag, but Hallo is already committed to the challenge there. And we'll look at that replay once again as Mumford stays on the ground for right now, headed back. And it didn't give Hallo any time, and just the right dangling leg clipped. Looks like the inner thigh of Mumford, but he's back up. He's rolled up now and he's on his feet. So just a moment to catch his breath. And Hickory FC fan is excited for that Port City FC game against Hickory next week. At least I think that's what he means. And we're excited too. Make sure you tune in next Saturday. That game's at 6 p.m. It's the nightcap, the finale for the Port City FC season, men's and women's, at least in the regular season. So definitely a big moment for that. Also, if Port City FC can keep winning and Hickory do slip up once, that game would have that much more value. but Hickory FC look unbeatable at the moment. So there's the halftime whistle. We've reached 45 minutes. Port City FC, courtesy of a Jack Steele screamer once more. 3 straight games. It's 1-0 in favor of Port City FC over Greenville United. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes or so for a recap of that first half. Stay with us here on Port City FC YouTube and TST TV, or TSC, excuse me, TV, here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Welcome back to Wilmington, North Carolina. Hope you're still there. If you are, then we got a recap for you. So it's Port City FC 1, Greenville United 0 at halftime here, and we'll get that replays for you. The big moments in the first half on Port City FC YouTube and TSC TV YouTube as well. We'll take a look at the goal first. A mad scramble, and it's kicked back to Jack Steele here in slow motion. We see Jack Steele even prettier in the top right corner, just nestled there like an egg in a bird's nest high in the trees. And here's that save off the line we said we were going to show you again. So I think it's saved by the front post player there. Nice play by Holt, and it's past the arm of the keeper, yes, so it's save off the line. Great save from Greenville to keep it at 1-0 at that point. And here is another chance. Holt this time taking it from the same range Jack Steele did. This one's low though, and to the right of the keeper instead of the top left corner. Saved corner kick for Port City FC. And then that's all we have for the first half. So what a first half it was. You saw the big moments, Port City FC, the majority of those highlights, and Greenville trying to create something offensively. Haven't really seen a good chance other than a cross that went over the couple heads of some Greenville players. And we got 5:30 until the second half. Stay with us here on Port City FC YouTube, TSC TV YouTube as well. We'll be back for that second half kickoff. Back on the pitch in Wilmington, North Carolina, are Greenville United and Port City FC. As intensity wraps up the second half, it's about to get underway. We welcome you back here. We showed you the highlights at halftime. And we appreciate all the comments. We'll love to see more in the second half. Let us know who you think is going to score the first goal in the second half. Let us know if you think there is going to be more goals. Let us know if you think there's going to be no more goals. And we've loved your comments so far. Hickory FC fan says, let's keep it 1-0. We'll see. It was a pretty slow start before Jack Steele opened the scoring in the 34th minute. And I went down to the turf and ice cubes melting on that turf. How hot it is, like a sauna. So we'll once again see a hydration break in this second half. When will it happen is the question that is yet to be answered. Also, don't forget to like and share this stream, however you're watching. Get it out in the public. Once again, we do appreciate your views. Subscribe, likes, they help more than you know. So do the comments as well. So the center referee, well, he gets us underway, but Powell says otherwise. A little fake there as more people flow into the stadium. And a lot more people right in front of us in the shade of the broadcast booth, casting over the aluminum benches in front of us as well. So back underway. Here in Hickory, it's worse, says Hickory FC fan. I believe it. The sea breeze definitely having a helpful hand in keeping the temperature somewhat down by the coast here in Wilmington. And it's hot across the U.S. Don't just think it's here in Wilmington. Absolutely. So, something to keep an eye on. There's that challenge that he got stepped on, it looked like, did the Port City defender. Holt was looking for Walker. Walker, though, stopped his run. That's one of those, I think, because of the heat, he doesn't make the run. Who knows? Long ball now. Played by Sané. It's one back though by Port City. Minisi back to Fatzinger. Lieber just had to quickly get rid of it. He was the one that maybe got stepped on. Not sure what was happening behind the play there as Menenke gets fouled though. Here's the foul on Menenke on that far touchline. Nice shifty footwork there. And gets the foul. So here's Fatzinger out wide to Tepe. Tepe now driving inside, finds Walker. Hickory FC fan says next game they need to make me a commentator. Well, yeah, we'd love to have more voices in the booth. Open arms, that's for sure. We always are looking for new people. So Walker now. The goal scorer back to Tepe. Steele now checking to Fatzinger, now back to Fatzinger. Kind of a slow start here to the second half. The long ball to Holt. Holt will be able to keep it in play. Walker flips it over to Tepe. Now Greenville able to clear it. Trying to break is Greenville, though. Sliding challenge from Vatzinger takes that one out. And one of the key names that's missing for Port City FC, mentioned their goalkeeper that we saw start the last game at home, but not only that, their leading goal scorer for a vast majority of the season, Aiden Payne, Forbridge Soccer, reminding us about how Port City FC doesn't have Aiden Payne as of right now. What a start to the season he had. Port City FC has done pretty well so far, even without Payne on the roster. 2 straight wins for Port City FC. Holt flicks it on, but finds a Greenville defender, but it's right back to Tepe. Walker might have been offsides if it did get to Walker. Strong challenge, though, by Mensah. Candela finding Abbas. Abbas, who's gone from the right wings area, has now he's in kind of a left center back, maybe left back position. Hickory FC says or Hickory FC fan says he's got the Spanish commentating down. And that always is a fun commentary to listen to. So we see you there, Hickory FC fan. Sun behind a cloud, so a little relief for some of the players. 5 minutes into the second half, we haven't seen a chance so far. Kind of the same that we saw in the first half. Strong challenge here by Olivier Jarvis, or Oliver, you might say. If you're French, you might say Olivier, but I think that it's Oliver for him. It's headed on by Fatzinger, which eliminates any danger for now. Oliver Jarvis is the first substitute of the game. He said there might be subs, so Jarvis, number 27, is the first one we've seen. And that's Greenville United once again. Holt, who's the striker for Port City FC, trying to play some defense. Now Tepe, but it's kept on the feet of Greenville and cleared away. Last-ditch challenge there by Tepe. Mensah was helping out. He started the attack, and it was Fofana who drove in. We'll get you another replay on that here in a second. Corner kick now for Greenville United. Corner kicking long towards the back corner 6, bouncing around in the 18. Port City FC trying to clear. Jarvis in the box. Benitzi blocked. Jarvis once again, and it's a foul as Jarvis kicked the body of, it looked like, Benitzi. Then the ball was absolutely booted away. Maybe it was a shot by Duran, not sure. So here's that replay of that first chance that led to that corner. So there was Fofana. Fofana inside shot, touched away by Rivera. Mumford maybe looked like he had it covered, but we'll never know. And Mumford now plays it back into live action. Here's that replay of that second chance. It's bouncing around in the box just aimlessly. There's bodies everywhere, legs flying. Jarvis hits it off the turf, trying to get something to shake, maybe a deflection. And it's still a clean sheet for Port City FC. Minisi there is now going to take a free kick as Jack Steele was fouled. once again, thanks for tuning in today and spending your Saturday afternoon with us here. Port City FC YouTube and TSC TV YouTube as well. Remember to like this stream and to subscribe to the channel, and also we'd love to see your comments about if you think there'll be another goal scorer. We've seen a lot of comments today, a lot of interaction, and that's great to see. Love to hear all your thoughts and about this game. There's a foul on Tepe there. Once again, 6 p.m. coming up in about 2.5 hours is kickoff for Port City FC women's team against Carolina FC. Top 2 teams in the WPSL in the Southeast Conference. Port City FC ranked top 15 in the WPSL national rankings as well. There's a through ball that just finds Mumford. Port City FC women's team also undefeated. Here is Lieber. Menenke got it taken away by a Bass. So Greenville United. Hickory FC fan says, I can't wait to be at Moretz. I'm not sure what Moretz is. I think it might be the home stadium Hickory FC. I'm not sure. Might need some explanation there. Maybe it's a restaurant, maybe it's a town, a city. Maybe. Hickory FC fan, hopefully you can let us know if that's the stadium for Hickory FC. So we've got a substitute now for Port City FC, first sub of the game, and Powell will be told by the referee, who's had a good stronghold on the game.
Number 14, Payne.
So here is the man that I was talking about earlier, Aiden Payne. Powell steps off the pitch. Aiden Payne enters, so. Oh, excuse me. Asa Hamid is wearing number 14. It's number 17, Aiden Payne. So it was Aiden Payne. I had the wrong number in my head. So Aiden Payne's out there. He's already making an impact. Here he is. Oh, no one was inside the box for Port City FC. So Aiden Payne back on the pitch for Port City FC. Look at him. And that's just what the fresh legs can do. I mentioned when we see a goal from a substitute, we've seen a couple people. I know Hickory FC fans said that there was going to be a goal by a substitute. I believe it myself as well. So it's one sub from either team so far. And here we go with another substitute, now 2 for Greenville. It's number 7 coming off for Greenville United. It's Konate, and coming on, we've already seen Jarvis. It looks like it might be Joshua Mallon. Now it's a counter for Port City. Payne might have been offsides, but right now he was offsides. I thought he might have been, and it is number 24, Joshua Malin, on the field for Greenville United. And he was offsides, just a step too early. We had a perfect line of it. I'm directly in line of that 40-yard dash, or maybe 45, in between there, and that's right where Payne was when that ball was played. So, good call from the sideline. Referee. Port City FC have 2 players warming up as well on that left far touchline by that corner kick over there. No warming up going on by Greenville United as of right now. They made those 2 subs. free kick for Greenville United, and it's a test for the players here, but also don't forget it's a test for the referees. Refs are faced with the same challenge as the players, and center ref is conditioned himself well for the heat. He's got to stay mentally switched on as well, because make sure no fouls get out of hand too much. Intercepted is the pass from Fatzinger to hold the cross, though blocked by Fatzinger, making up for the mistake. As you saw that replay there. Now the throw-in is Fofana. Babakar Fall also on the pitch for Greenville, so that's their third. That might have been a halftime sub to Babakar Fall. Fall there takes a tumble and is cleared away by the goal scorer that's made the difference in the game so far, Jack Steele. But the pressure's still on. Menenke, though, able to down press and win the ball back. Both players have to slow up quick, though, before they run into the 10th. That wouldn't feel too good, that's for sure. So we've crossed a quarter hour into the second half and a full hour in the game. 30 minutes to go, and we've seen very little action here in the second half. I haven't seen a comment in a while, probably because everyone has fallen asleep. So if you're still awake, well, thank you, and we're here with you. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channels. And maybe you're making some coffee as well. Maybe a little late afternoon tea and crumpets, but more in terms of coffee to wake yourself up from a slow game like this as well. Benjamin, who said something about Port City earlier, I can't quite remember what that was. He says, I bet Aiden scores. So that's Aiden Payne they're talking about. Aiden Payne has been very impactful. And that Port City FC game last Wednesday, 10 days ago, as here's a nice attack. Here's Duran taking on Fatzinger. Duran now placing against 3 Port City defenders. Curls in Mumford. Whoa, late dive there. Late reaction from Mumford, causing a little scare for Port City. I'll come back to that point in a second I was making. Here's Duran getting past 3 Port City defenders. Gets a shot with his left foot, strong left foot. Mumford there, able to get down to his right though. Not the typical dive though you like to see. Here's Holt, it's over Holt's head though, and into the stands. Back on that earlier point, Aiden Payne, yes. The big goal scorer for Port City. There will be 2 subs now for Port City. It is Adam Holt and Jackson Minisi. So the captain comes off, the band goes to, it looks like, maybe Jack Steele. We'll come back to that. It's going to be Keegan Pete, and I mentioned his name earlier. We thought 14 had entered, he does now. Asa Hamid. So it's Hamid and Pete entering. Pete takes the captain's armband for Minisi. So it won't go on Jack Steele. And some fresh legs for Port City FC. And it's pretty easy to tell. I don't know if the camera at home does it a justice, but you see that light coastal blue to the players that just entered, and you see a darker kind of blue to the players that have sweated and been on the pitch the whole game. So 3 subs for Port City, 3 for Greenville. Both teams have 2 subs left. That's the math that I have, at least. Tepe took a slip there, and pressure by Fall. Oh, and Hamid had a chance as it went over the head of Sané. Oh, Oh, and Hamid there takes the tumble. A lot of players falling in the past couple of seconds, not even minutes. And that goes right to Mumford. So once again, we see possession from Port City FC. That point I was making was Burlington FC versus Port City FC. That game last Wednesday was 1-0 in the 80, I think, 3rd minute or 4th minute. And Port City FC scored 2 goals late. Errors from the Burlington United goalkeeper as well. One where he got chipped and one that went through his legs. But nonetheless, they still count the same, and Port City FC really blew that game out late on. Mumford here has to get it off his foot quickly. Tepe was able there to present a long-range effort from Greenville if they recovered it, as Mumford was on the ground. But now Port City FC have countered in. Walker with a long ball, but it goes right to Gimafi. One back quickly here by Port City FC now. Hamid over to Payne. Oh, he just missed it though. It went under his left foot, and now he's holding his top of his right foot. Here's the replay. Hamid able to win it back quickly. Great space for Payne, and we've seen him so deadly there, but looked like he misplanted with his right foot. That's been the area though where he's been able to get into space and take a chance on. That results in one of those goal scoring opportunities, and usually a goal if Aiden Payne's on the end of it. Jack Steele upended there. And a little smirk and a laugh by Fall. This is a throw-in for Greenville United. It's been a pretty composed and relaxed game in terms of fouls as well. Both these teams haven't really fouled each other. It hasn't been very physical. There's been some physical contact, don't get me wrong. Most soccer games have that, but neither team has really been too chippy. It's been a pretty clean game, which is always something you like to see. But intensity will build up as this game goes further and further along. And if it stays 1-0, we'll see it ramp up even with the heat. Here's pressure by Jarvis. Mumford just boots it all the way. And offsides was Hamid, so that's a tough one to take and swallow if you're Port City FC. Hamid just was unable to get back before Mumford cleared it. So now possession alternates to Greenville. Mumford off his line once again. He's got to head it away. He got caught out there. And a bike, or a somewhat behind the back attempt for Greenville. Faye saw the opportunity. That's what I was mentioning. Mumford was out earlier. That ball slowed up. Once again, we've seen the turf really spin the ball backwards. And Faye took the chance on, and it went and missed the mark. So Payne now finds inside of Tepe. Tepe's on a head of steam. Tepe still with the ball at his feet. He's gone back and around. He was being pressured by Duran. Now that is Menenke driving in, sliding challenge. Great challenge by Abbas. Abbas doing a lot for Greenville today. A great defensive slide. We'll watch it again. He stays with him. Menenke thought he had him beat, but the left foot is there across his path to knock it out of bounds, and it's a Jack Steele corner now. Once again, while we have a quick break here for this corner kick, as it might be taken short. No, King and Pete has to recycle his run. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Like this stream. It's flicked on by a Greenville player out to Walker, who looks and winds up for a cross to Hamid. We have a header goal for Port City FC. They double their advantage. So life once more in the game out of nowhere. Hamid gets the head on it. Hickory FC fan said we almost had a headed goal earlier. I said we didn't have one so far on the season, but Hamid right there gets his noggin on the ball and scores the second goal of this game to get the first goal that's been headed in this season for Port City FC at home. And the referee heading over to the celebrations to try and hurry it up. Woodbridge Soccer says it's beautiful. It was beautiful. Guy Maffei maybe off his line a hair. We'll take a look at it again. Guy Maffei kind of got caught in no man's land. He'll just take a step off his line here. He does. See, then he stops, and it goes right over the head. The goalkeeping definitely left something to be desired. But now it's a 2-goal lead cushion for Port City FC, but with still 22 minutes left, anything can happen. 2 goals can change the momentum if you get one. Here is Jarvis. He's going to take a crack with his left. It's blocked, though, by Lieber. So hopefully that woke you up a little bit at home. It kind of came out of nothing, though. Here is Fall now. Fall plays it over to Sané. One back, though, by Payne. Aiden Payne playing some defensive work. Gets fouled. That's the whole Port City FC motto. They try to get all their players involved in the defensive work. Hydration break probably on the horizon as we hit the 70th minute. It was around the 30th minute last time, or last half, you might say. And we did see a substitute score a goal, so Hickory FC said there would be a substitute goal. He was right. He's been right a couple times. Jack Steele there with a very speculative effort. That was about 50 or so yards away. 55 actually, yeah, very speculative. And he maybe thought Gyamfi had a chance to not get that as he was far out off his line. Here's Jarvis. Now we'll see where this game goes. Will Greenville have to press on? Well, they obviously will if they want to get back in the game, but does that second goal take the sting out of it for Port City where they can just possess now? Or does it amp the game up even more? Here's Payne now. Payne trying to drive through 3 defenders. He's got past 1, 2, 3, fouled, and it's a yellow for Mensah. Payne just with the ability to keep the ball on his foot, glued to his foot. He's got the pace. That's all the qualities you look for in a player, with their ability to keep possession, especially when you're trying to somewhat kill the clock. 72nd minute now. So Walker will just play it backwards over to Fatzinger, over to Tepe, now back to Fatzinger, pressured by Jarvis. Back into Walker, now around over to Leber. Lieber's pass was off the mark, and now Greenville on the counter. Jarvis finding Fall, the substitutes to substitute. Fall trying to find Jarvis again. Oh, and the volley just was not connected cleanly by Faye. Maybe off the ankle there, Faye, not the contact that he would have liked. A great chance though, maybe off the shin pad as well. Definitely a tough break for Greenville. A chance really to get back in this game. Header one. Payne meticulously driving down, but it's won by Greenville. Fofana was there defensively. Here's the sprinting of Malin. Malin crossing now, looking for fall. 3 substitutes up front for Greenville. They've definitely used it. Oh, Mumford had to be careful. Sliding out of the box. But he was able to keep it in the box. A nice effort from him. Look at that. That's a full-fledged lunge and stretch to keep that ball inside the box, or it would have been a free kick for Greenville United. And Vorbich Soccer says it's a smart foul on Aiden Payne, in which it was. Aiden Payne has so much shifty pace and outright speed as well. Not very often you see a player that has speed in a straight line and speed when he cuts as well. Played here on this field at New Hanover High School when they won the state championship in 2021. What a player he was, though. He really came out of nowhere for that New Hanover side and scored a lot of goals. So a quarter an hour to go here in this game. Fofana throwing the ball in. Well, he's been told to keep moving back, is Fofana. Tepe boots this ball up in the air. Payne just making his presence known on Fofana, and it's cleared out by Tepe. So throw in once again by Fofana. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe before this quarter of an hour is done. Make sure you get all the notifications for Port City FC YouTube and also TSC TV. Great games on there, a lot of action. Oh, that clear by Gamafi only went to Menenke. Now Port City FC have equal numbers, 4-on-4, but the pass from Menenke finds the feet of Fofana instead of a light blue jersey. Menenke, though, able to win it back. Now it's with Steele, possessing around over to Lieber, Fatzinger. Now Fatzinger pressured heavily. No foul there. That was a foul on Fatzinger. Or, excuse me, it was a Port City FC free kick, but referee a little late to blow the whistle there. Lieber and Jarvis go up together. There is Sané. And it once again rolls harmlessly to Mumford. A lot of that today. And Hickory FC fan making sure that we know in the comments that he predicted there would be a substitute goal. He did say that. He knew that there would be a goal. Here's Port City now. Pete with a long-range effort just past the near post. Is Pete. That was a great chance. He had loads of space. Looks like there might not be a hydration break in the second half. Or no, here is the hydration break. So late on in the second half with only 14 minutes. And we'll get a look at that shot again. So Hickory FC fan, though, we see you. They predicted a substitute making a difference. Payne open on that near side if Pete was able to find him, but Pete, I don't think, saw Payne. Those are 2 substitutes for Port City FC. And once again, substitutes making a difference on a hot day. Port City FC making a fight to get their 5th win of the season. They have 2 losses so far. This would put them at 15 points and in sole possession of 2nd place. 6 points behind Hickory FC, who is 7-0. They have a game tonight at 7 p.m. Here's that chance that we saw Greenville United have. It was blocked by Jarvis. Also, don't forget to stay tuned for the 6 p.m. kickoff of Port City FC Women's and Carolina FC. Great matchup, top 2 teams. We're watching a replay of a A block there by Fall, one of Fall's first actions in the second half. Both teams undefeated against all opposition in the WPSL except for each other. Port City FC women's, they're undefeated in general. The only loss that Carolina FC has is it's against that of Port City FC. Aiden Payne getting fouled with that defensive work rate that I was mentioning earlier. He's had a lot of work to do today. Andy Garcia says Greenville United needs new players. That is above my pay grade. But yes, Greenville United, they are down 2-0 today and trying to make a stand in this game, or a late push in the season. A substitute for Greenville United. Looks like maybe number 20 is in. There's the goal for Port City FC. It's Walker getting it to Hamid over the head of Gimafi. So we see number 12 for Port City FC, Daniel Garvilla. And for Greenville United, I'll get you that number here in a second as they're on the attack. Tepe headed away though. I don't know. I think Greenville didn't make a sub there, so I was mistaken. Hamid there gets taken away by Abbas. So Abbas now trying to connect with his fellow teammates, finds his goalkeeper of Gimafi. Hamid was pressing. Hickory FC fan says he feels good about Port City FC being number 3 in the nation for NPSL. Very confident about that. I'm sure that they believe that Hickory FC fan, or that Hickory FC, the team, is number 1 in the nation. That's a great ball in, and maybe a chance to get a penalty. They do. Here's the opportunity for Greenville United to get back in this game. And it's a tough challenge in there for Port City, but I think it might be a penalty. We'll get a look at it. Malin, great run on him by him. Run on to this through ball, excuse me. Malin, great touch as well, and has to be fouled by Fatzinger. Maybe not has to be, but he was fouled, at least by Fatzinger. Gets a yellow for his troubles as well, does Fatzinger. So a big momentum shift here in the 82nd minute. A late push potentially for Port City FC. 2 subs as well lining up for Port City FC. Maybe to assure themselves of this win. Well, it's up in the question now. Oliver Jarvis trying to get one back for Greenville United. As the crowd gets a little rambunctious here. Mumford trying to keep his clean sheet. Ref blows his whistle. Mumford gets a hand, but Jarvis able to get it and cut the deficit in half. Gets a little shove to Mumford. Little extracurriculars, gets Pete's a little shove too. Jarvis obviously doesn't want to hear anything from a Port City player at all. And let's have a replay. Mumford was unable to get a touch. Well, he got a touch, but unable to get enough to keep that one out. So it's 2-1. The deficit now is only 1. Momentum maybe in the favor of Greenville United. 2 subs come on for Port City. It's going to be the man I was talking about earlier, number 19, Caleb Woodard. So we'll get to see him for the first time at home this season. So there's a foul as the intensity is now picked up. I was talking about how it's been a calm game.
number 19.
He doesn't there. So number 13, Taylor Vorbrich. We see Vorbrich Soccer says it looked offsides. Maybe we might have to take another look at that on that goal that, or the penalty that was given on the Malin through ball. But we'll take a look at that at the end of the game. But Vorbrich is in for Port City FC. And Hickory Fan FC, I think that might be the first thing that he said wrong all day. I think he's had about 3 or 4 things he said correct, prediction-wise. He said he was going to save it, and he almost predicted the future once more. Mumford got his right hand to it, but not enough, as Jarvis cut the deficit, and now we've got a game on our hands. Here's Jarvis again, a through ball into fall. Tepe now with defender sprinting back, through ball inside, finds, late challenge. Referee says no penalty. He shakes it off quickly, does the center referee. Staying down, though, is the attacking player of Sane. Here's that challenge. We're taking a look at it as referee stops play. Sane there. Oh, and he gets ball, does he? That's a great challenge from Lieber. What a challenge that was. And we'll take a look at that once more, this time in slow motion, to watch Lieber with a great lunge. Maybe a game-saving lunge for all 3 points for Port City FC. There's the cross. Lieber, he gets all ball. He does get a lot of the man, though, so that's a tough decision for the referee, but there's no VAR in the NPSL, so the decision is what it'll be. So we see Sane getting back to his feet now. That's always a nice sign. And who says NPSL isn't fun? This is a great game that we have now. And it's come to life late. That's what we've seen a lot of in the NPSL. Also, not just that, it's another 3-goal game for Port City FC. They've either had 5 or 3 goals. Hickory FC says 37 minutes into the second half. Yes, we have 5 minutes left in regulation now that we're in the 86th minute. And Muhammad says it wasn't offsides. It was just a good through ball, which it was a great through ball. That's the Malin through ball that he was talking about that led to the penalty. We'll take a look at it at the end of the game and maybe get some more analyzation there. But for right now, this game hangs in the balance. And who's going to tip the scales? Aiden Payne's on sides. Here's Garvilia on his far side. Can he connect with Garvilia? Payne saved by Gamafi. Gamafi coming up big. And Payne, you would think, had that one in the back pocket as he's such a good goal scorer, but maybe a little bit of rust there for Aiden Payne. Also, don't discredit the pressure from Fofana. Payne was feeling that for sure off his right shoulder. Now Jack Steele wins it back again. He scored the first goal of the game for Port City FC. Now Hamid with a shrug. Able to get a corner for Port City FC. And here's the Aiden Payne chance. He feels that pressure of Fofana coming across his body and doesn't get what he wanted on it. Garvilia in a tough angle towards his right as well. Right now the game-winning goal is to Hamid. Jack Steele was looking to get his 3rd game-winning goal in a row. It looks like that might not be in the cards today. But the beast that is this game has awoken. And chances flying left and right. Greenville United throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Port City right now. There is Vorbrich. He takes to the turf, but he's able to win it, and it's out for a Greenville throw-in. But Vorbrich, the right back, doing what he needs to do now as he took off Rivera. Woodard almost playing as a 3rd center back, playing in that number 6 position. Jarvis, oh, it ends up on Jarvis's feet, taken, and it's out for a goal kick. Jarvis had the ball like a platter in front of him, but the platter was empty. Here it is again. Tepe's header right to Jarvis at his feet, but just unable to make good contact with that left foot. 88 minutes now on the clock. So there's a Bass. Vorbich able to stand his ground. It's out for Greenville throw though. Muhammad once again says, and we see it wasn't rust from pain. Yes, it was a good recovery from Fofana. Yes, that was upon further review, a great run from Fofana. Back and to down press and really mess up Aiden Payne and his shooting motion. So absolute good pressure. For Greenville. But you're absolutely right. Muhammad, we see you in the comments. Here's a long throw for Greenville United. It's cleared away by Pete. Greenville trying to collect themselves. Here's a Bass now. All Greenville players 40 yards from goal. Now it's a counterattack potential. Garvilia. But the recovery speed from Greenville is good, and now they have numbers behind the ball. A Bass taking defensive stance against Garvilia. Garvila now to Steele. Steele being pressured though by Hall, and Hall gets there first. Fall now. Plays it back to Fofana. That wasn't Fofana, that was Mensa, excuse me. And Port City FC now won it back in the offensive half. They're going to try and possess maybe. 90th minute about to approach. 10 more seconds to tick away on the electronic scoreboard. To our left, it's a corner kick for Port City, allowing them to take it to 90. So 90 minutes on the electronic scoreboard has elapsed. The one on the screen is a little bit behind. So it is 90 here. We're in stoppage time. I don't know how much added time there'll be. I'd probably say about 3 minutes. So start your clocks at home. Garvila wins a throw-in for Port City FC as the fans get up in arms and excited with their cowbells here in Wilmington. If you've been with us the whole game, it definitely hasn't been this exciting, the whole match, but we do appreciate you viewing the whole game. If you just tuned in, well, you've tuned into a good time. Payne trying to recover. Greenville with a big switch fall there. Fall pressured by Tepe. Fall dropping it back down. Mensa, long ball over to Jarvis, the goal scorer on the penalty for Greenville to get them back in the game. He fouls Pete. And now Pete gets hit maybe by a knee there of Jarvis. He stays down, and now the teams come together. Yellow card for Jarvis for that extracurricular on Pete. Let's take a look at it. Contact there, good use of the body positioning from Pete, and then he kind of falls and hits his knee on him. Some can argue that might be worthy of a red. Who knows? And if there was VAR, I'm sure they would take a look at it. But like we said, no VAR here in the NPSL. Also, don't forget 6 p.m. on this same channel that you're watching right now. Port City FC women's team facing off against Carolina FC. Port City FC women's ranked 15th or top 15 nationally in the WPSL. A great run potentially for them in the playoffs if they keep their good running. They're undefeated right now. They beat Carolina FC last Friday. Carolina FC's only loss is to Port City FC. Stay tuned for that one here at Legion Stadium. A great match ensuing there. Garvila finding Woodard. Woodard now connecting with Pete. Pete attacking. Will they take it to the corner, Port City? The answer looks like no now. Payne Back to Pete at the top of the box, curls it right into the hands of Gimafi. Just to keep this game alive for that ever second longer. Now Tepe intercepts. On the break is Tepe, sliding in, and it's a foul for that late challenge and a yellow for Sane. He just gets a lot of the man there after the ball is gone. That's always going to be called. There's that shot, and Gimafi, good positioning. That's what you get taught as a goalkeeper. And here's that foul, that sliding effort. He's trying to get the ball back and just get Lex Tepe along the way. And this channel is Triad Soccer channel. That's the TSC TV channel. If you're watching on Port City FC YouTube, that's the one you're on as well. This one bounced off the corner out for a goal kick. Now the time, we've well past 3 minutes. We've had a stoppage in the extra time. It looks like we're very close to the end of this game. Referee checking his watch. Able to keep with it, and he hits the fence, does Payne, but he's still pressuring. Greenville trying to get the ball up the pitch for their maybe last attempt of this game. It's with Jarvis now. Jarvis trying to connect with his teammates. And this one's boomed all the way close to us. That ball was absolutely sailed into the stands. But quickly, thanks to the ball kids we have here today, back in play, and it's a foul. This could be the last chance of the game. Tepe yelling at the ref, not happy. Gets a yellow for his actions, and here's contact. Fofana making contact with Payne. Red for Fofana. And that was a little bit of a dirty play there. I was watching that. They were getting in each other's face, but it's always the retaliation that gets called. Here's that first foul. It's a foul. That's what the ref says, and Tepe gets angry. Look to your bottom right of your screen after the yellow is thrown. We won't get to catch it. We'll see if we can bring up that red card later on. But it's a red for Greenville. I'm not sure it will really matter. I'm sure they'll probably try to throw everybody forward now. So it's the end of the day for Fofana. Port City FC, oddly enough, had a red card in their last game for Charlottetown Hops. A lot of red cards being thrown in the NPSL. That just makes the game more interesting, I guess. And Hickory FC fan, you're welcome for making you feel welcome. We always like to have interactions with the fans, and we thank you for being interactive. And same thing with you, Muhammad, and everyone else that has commented. A lot of names for Bridge Soccer as well. Here might be the last chance for Greenville United. Here's Duran whipping it in. Not far enough maybe, but it's flicked on by Abbas and cleared away by Pete. Referee whistled him out. 3 blows of the whistle. It's the end of the game. Port City FC 2, Greenville United 1. The crowd erupts here at Legion Stadium. And what a game it was. Thank you for tuning in with us today. We'll get you some highlights here in a second. A very high octane last 10 minutes of this game where we saw a goal, a red card, and loads of chances. So we'll get you some of those replays now. We'll start with the first goal of the game for Port City FC. It's a Jack Steele screamer. I feel like that's a common occurrence here at Legion Stadium. Jack Steele somehow ends up with the ball at his feet. It's knocked back to him, takes a touch in top right corner where he nestles that one home. That makes the score 1-0 at halftime. Now we'll see the next Highlight is a great chance that's cleared off the line. That was Jarvis's first real chance. He ended up scoring the penalty later on, which we'll see. This was back in the second half now. Next highlight, we have Walker with a nice whip in to Hamid. Gamafi maybe leaving something to be desired goalkeeping wise, but Hamid, who ended up getting the game-winning goal, to his credit. What a game for Hamid coming off the bench. We saw a goal from a substitute, 2 substitutes. Here's that through ball. Malin gets on and great touches his left foot, fouled there by Fatzinger. There was a lot of talk about maybe that being offsides. It looked good here. Here's that penalty, Jarvis. Mumford got a touch, but Jarvis able to power it through. And that was the last goal of the game as Port City FC come to greet their fans. Final score here, 2-1 in favor of Port City FC over Greenville United. Folks, it's been a pleasure for this game. We appreciate you joining, but that's all we have for this NPSL match. I've been Zachary Buttright along with you this whole way. Thanks for commenting. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe to the channels. We'll be here with you. And also don't forget 6 p.m. Port City FC Women's versus Carolina FC, a big match in the WPSL. Port City FC Women's undefeated and nationally ranked. Stay with us here for that game. As for right now, we bid you a farewell and see you soon.